This episode of Juice Guru Radio is brought to you by Try Best, making healthy living easy, and our special inner circle, Juice Guru Academy, at juiceguruacademy.com. Come join the tribe and the Juice Revolution.
Welcome to Juice Guru Radio. Discover what the magic and power of juicing can do for you. And now, your host, best-selling author of The Complete Idiot's Guide to Juice Fasting, Steve Prusak.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Juice Guru Radio. I'm your host, Steve Prusak. On today's show, we've got Tammy Mastroberte. She's going to show us about the power of gratitude and how we can use that to improve our lives. Tammy is the founder of Elevated Existence magazine, award-winning writer, and so much more. She's coming up on this episode, so stay tuned, relax, sit back, have some juice, tea, water. We'll be back right after this with Tammy Mastroberte.
Here's another Juice Guru approved product.
Hey there, Juice Guru tribe. Here at Juice Guru, we've tried a lot of juicers, but the one we've chosen as our absolute favorite for the last 3 years in a row has been the Try Best Slow Star. Try Best Slow Star makes healthy living easy. Get one today.
Juice Guru Radio.
Hello and welcome. Welcome to another edition of Juice Guru Radio. I'm your host, Steve Prusak. It's so great to be with you. And on today's show, we're so excited. We've got Tammy Mastroberte. She's the founder of Elevated Existence and publisher and editorial director of the 5-time award-winning Elevated Existence magazine, a new age, spiritual, and self-improvement publication that she launched 8 years ago. And she's a 3-time award-winning writer with more than 18 years of publishing experience. And she educates people all over the world on how to live a more elevated existence, something we can all use in this day and age. Let's welcome to Juice Guru Radio right now, Tammy Mastroberte.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Tammy. Thank you so much for being with us. Thanks for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
So today, I know there's so many things we could talk about, and I've got my gratitude shirt on for those watching on video. It really is. It's not Gatorade. It's not a Gatorade shirt. It's gratitude. The power of gratitude, and it's such an important thing. Tammy, can you take us into this and tell us why gratitude is such a popular and talked about topic today?
Sure. It really is. There's books dedicated just to gratitude. There's websites dedicated to gratitude. So many teachers talk about it as part of their teachings and their, what they're sharing with the world. And the reason I think it's so popular is because it just works. It works on so many levels, and we wouldn't hear about it so much if it didn't actually work. But I think one of the coolest things about it is, for me, when you start hearing that people did research or scientific research about something, you know that there's something going on, like, oh, why are people researching it? There must be something there. And there is, you wouldn't think so, but there are tons of studies that have been done on gratitude and that show the powerful benefits of it. There were studies that show on your physical health it has an effect, that people who have gratitude as part of their lives or part of their daily lives actually report less aches and pains. They report feeling more healthy. And there's huge psychological benefits to it from studies that show, when you have gratitude as part of your life, you don't feel the effects of the toxic emotions like anger and resentment as much. That actually decreases along with depression, and your happiness has been shown to increase from it. And probably one of the out-of-the-box cool things that I recently had learned about it is there was a study, and it was published in the Journal of Applied Psychology, I believe. And it actually showed that a gratitude journal, which a lot of people have probably heard about, Oprah Winfrey has talked about it, but doing a gratitude journal for like 10 to 15 minutes at night where you're just kind of journaling, things that you're grateful for, has been actually proven to improve your sleep, where you sleep better and you sleep longer by just doing that exercise. So for those people who struggle with sleep, that's huge. And just the fact that it's just this thing called gratitude can have all these benefits, never mind the manifestation factor and all that other stuff that people talk about, but just these real scientific benefits blew my mind when I found out about it. So I always kind of like to point that out because it's more than just, feeling good and attracting the things that you want into your life. There's so many real benefits, that concrete things that people can now realize and get from the power of gratitude.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you think about it, like The Secret. That movie was so popular. What was it? Is it the gratitude they're talking in there? How does that compare to gratitude in that way as opposed to other ways we can learn about gratitude?
I think that with The Secret and whenever anybody is talking about the law of attraction or manifesting, the bottom line of all of that is that you want to quote unquote raise your vibration. You want to live at a higher level. You want to feel good. Emotions play a huge role in that. And when you're feeling good, you're at that higher level and you're attracting more things to you. And gratitude, like nothing else I've ever found, can instantly put you into that space. Like there's, I have a teaching that I recently did for a video on our YouTube about like how to improve your mood in 3 minutes or less. And a big piece of that is gratitude. Like you can instantly shift yourself. Just sitting there for, 5 seconds and thinking of one thing that you're grateful for will shift you right out of wherever you were before. And I mean, I literally just did it 2 hours ago because I was getting overwhelmed with stuff. And I was like, nope, I got to take a break. I got to take a minute. I got to shift myself. So I think the reason that it became so powerful with the law of attraction is because you want to feel good and you want to be at that elevated level in order to attract the things that you want, in order for the opportunities to flow into your life and things like that. So it plays a huge role in that because of that instant shift that you get and because what you focus on grows when it comes to the law of attraction. So when you're focused on what you're grateful for, that's what you're going to get more of. You're going to get more things to be grateful for. So I think that's where a lot of it came in. And I think a lot of people sometimes look at it as this blanket thing, but I've found there's so many other ways that we can utilize it. We can utilize it for specific things as well as just kind of that overall, let me boost my mood or let me boost my vibration so that I can then attract the things that I want into my life.
Is gratitude something we can use to get through a hard time or parts of our lives in specific situations, say?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of my favorite ways to use it and ways that I've experimented with it. And there's a book by the woman who actually wrote the book, The Secret, and did the movie. She wrote a book called The Magic. And in that particular book, it's almost like a 30-day journey where she takes you on each day. You do a different type of gratitude exercise. And I loved it because she really talks to you about using the power of gratitude for specific things in your life. So let's say, I always say, like, let's pick a topic and for 1 week, do one gratitude exercise every day on that particular topic. So let's say you're trying to improve a relationship. You would focus maybe every morning and every evening thinking of 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for about that person. And sometimes people can say, but I hate this person. It's hard for me to do. But you want to try and kind of go back and see, okay, well, what am I grateful? I'm angry at this person right now, but what did they bring to my life, or what have they made me recognize? And you kind of focus the gratitude about a particular person. You can look at their photo. You can find a photo on Facebook, on your phone, and really kind of talk to that person and tell them the things that you're grateful for. And if you do that for a week, I promise you'll see a difference in the relationship. I've had people where they try it and a friend they haven't spoken to in a couple months, all of a sudden they'll email them. Or, they'll get a phone call or something like that and in a relationship that had gone awry. So that's an example of that. A lot of people are trying to improve their money situation. And there's so many different things that you can do. Again, let's say you're going to focus on money for the next 7 days, and that'll be your gratitude practice. So you want to, write out, maybe you're paying bills. Most of us do everything online nowadays, but you can actually, and this actually came from that book, The Magic, where she talks about, taking the bill, and as soon as it comes in the mail, you would say, thank you paid, before you even pay the bill. And then, you would say thank you for the money, so that that maybe you don't have the money right now, but you're going to have the money. And it's the same thing, even if you're doing it online, you're paying your bills online. You can, forward the email to yourself and say, and put in the subject line, thank you for the money to pay this bill. And just leave it there until you're ready to pay it. And then after you pay it, you say, thank you, paid. But there's so many different things. I just actually spoke with a feng shui person recently who talked about, having a mirror on your desk. If you're working and you're trying to make more money, and anytime you get a check or anytime you get even an online payment, you put it on that mirror so that it doubles. So it's about like taking that intention and being grateful for that money. So there's so many ways that you can do it. If let's say you're not in a good mood about your job and you're unhappy about your job, Well, the best thing to do is to improve your mood while you're still at that job, while you're maybe looking for another one. So again, like, look for things that you can be great. Thank God I have this job right now that at least allows me to pay my bills. You know, thank God I was able to find this job when I was, and I'm so grateful that I know another job is coming. Like, there's so many ways to incorporate it specifically, because I'm telling you, not only will you find yourself and your feelings about that situation changing, but you'll see the situation kind of morphing as well, as long as you're practicing it.
So how can we incorporate more gratitude into our daily life?
So this is big, and this is something that I've been working with myself for a while. And basically there's a number of things that you can do. But for me, I feel like I always say there should be something you're doing daily for your own vibration, for your own connection, for your own, elevation. You want to be doing some type of gratitude practice daily. So a lot of people probably maybe already have a practice doing a gratitude journal. So maybe they journal in the morning or they journal in the evening. So I always say start your day or end your day with it are two easy things to incorporate in. And if you don't want to actually do it on a journal, you could speak it out loud in the morning while you're getting dressed. You can do it again before you go to bed. I actually think that the power of actually writing it out is a good thing. But if you don't have the time, years ago I used to type it in my phone when I was doing gratitude. So in the technical world, we can do that now. But there's a lot of other things that you can do to kind of incorporate it throughout the day to sort of boost your own vibration, boost your own energy, and boost your mood throughout the day. Because sometimes, we'll start the day one way and then all of a sudden we see ourselves going off track on something, and we don't always remember to take the time to bring ourselves back. So one of the kind of quick tips that we can do for that would be, again, using the technology of the phone. Sometimes what I'll do, and if, let's say you're working, let's say you pick the relationship and that's what you're going to do this week. I'm going to focus on this particular relationship, with your sister, with whomever. And so what I do is I'll take my phone and I'll just pick 3 different times throughout the day for an alarm to go off, and it'll just say the word gratitude. And for literally, 60 seconds, I'll just stop and I'll think of 3 things that I'm grateful for about that particular situation. If you're not working on a particular situation, you can just say, grateful for that happened this day or that happened this week. So that's one area to kind of incorporate it into your day. And there's so many different kind of tips and tricks that we can do about that to remind ourselves, because most of us are busy. And again, all the time we'll see ourselves, we get into these moods, or we get upset about something, or we go off on a tangent and we forget, like, oh my God, I have to stop this and recenter myself and then go back to what I'm doing. And that little hit of gratitude, when you see your phone go off, you can say to yourself, okay, where am I? Because I'm probably not in gratitude right now. Let me shift myself. And then you'll see that when you're going back to whatever it is that you're doing, you're coming at it from a different place.
There's so many different levels of gratitude. I mean, parts of our lives, say gratitude for relationships and for, the food on our table, or for our business and for our, whatever work we're doing in the world. And so what do we tune into? Does it matter? Do we want to mix it up, like relationships, work, family, friends? Like, how do we, or, even just having a roof above our head, or, a meal at the table, like I said, or a juice in the glass. How do we decide which area to focus on in our lives so we make sure we're grateful for everything?
Well, so the situational things I will use if I'm struggling in a particular area. So if I'm struggling with a job, maybe I want a different job, or I'm struggling in a particular relationship, or I'm struggling with money, those types of things I will take into my practice, maybe for a certain amount of time. But overall, the starting your day and ending your day, it doesn't even matter what you're grateful for. It's the energy that it comes from when you're talking about just gratitude in general. So if and during that, the magic, she actually says every day, don't repeat yourself. Don't say I'm grateful for my husband, I'm grateful for and say the same things every day. You really want to search and find some new things to be grateful for. And the longer you do it, the kind of easier it happens, because you're retraining your brain to look for stuff. So then throughout the day, you actually will maybe find things that you're grateful for that you would not have seen in the past, or you wouldn't have remembered in the past when you're sitting down at night to do it. So a lot of people will say, well, I don't know if I'm going to have enough to be grateful for, every day. But you can go back to, you know, when you were 5 years old and, you know, you took a dance class and your parents had the money to help you take that dance class or to take those football coaching lessons or whatever it is. You know, you can go back to just having a roof over your head growing up, or your best friend when you were in, you know, grammar school, or, you know, the fact that you guys took awesome vacations to Disney World or whatever, you know, whatever. It doesn't have to be like, what am I grateful for that's happening at this second? It's about bringing up that energy of, oh my gosh, look how good my life actually is or actually has been. Look how lucky I really am, because so many times we get sucked into everything that's going wrong. And oh my gosh, this is going wrong. Nothing is working right. And I can't, you know, I can't get this business off the ground, or I can't find love, or, you know, I'm just not making enough money. And we get sucked into that. And that completely brings our energy down, and it completely stops any type of attraction that's happening, because now you're focused on the wrong thing. But the gratitude brings up that emotion, and it kind of recenters you and focuses you on a better area. And now you're feeling better. So you can go back to childhood, you can do it now. But again, the more you're doing it and the more you're doing it, the more you're going to start noticing. And that was, I think, the biggest thing when I did the 30-day experiment a while back was, oh my gosh, I'm noticing, like in the moment when something happens, I would stop and be like, that is so cool. I got to write that down tonight. Because now you're noticing this stuff that, again, you didn't even notice before, you just kind of took for granted. It really changes the way that you are aware of things. It completely changes your awareness. And that's why I say daily, because the more you do it and the longer you do it and the more you get used to doing it, the quicker, you know, it's kind of like meditation. It's like the quicker, you know, the more you do it, the more those thoughts, you know, when you see yourself drifting off, you go back to your mantra. The more it happens, the more it happens. It's the same thing with gratitude. You find yourself, gosh, no, I'm not feeling good right now. I got to go back to my gratitude. And you start thinking of good things that you're feeling good. So it's honestly one of the most powerful and easy to do tools that we have available to us.
But it always matters where we are in our life. Like I think of that story of that meditation spiritual leader from Australia who just got shot by the police because she did you hear that story? How she?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's horrible. She heard like a possible rape going on behind her house, and she called the police. This was in Minneapolis, and the police arrived, and their body cameras were off, and whatever happened, she was in her pajamas outside. A spiritual leader, just a meditation teacher, and she was engaged to be married, and one of the police officers shot her 3 times, you know, and she died. And they're still trying to get answers in that community. And I just bring that up because it's just something that's really raw for me to see things like this happening. And I think about that family and the son to be, and how and seeing his devastation. And how do we, not that I'm in that right now, but all of us go through our challenges. How do we accept some of the stuff that goes on in life and then still shift and tune into what we can still be grateful for? I know that's a heavy question, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but I understand what you're saying. I think when something like that happens, it's a process to kind of go through. I think anytime anything unexpected and truly tragic happens, we have to take the time to absorb and actually realize the reality of what has happened, and to take a grip with the fact that this has happened and this is reality. And that sometimes takes a moment on its own. And then you kind of move through it. And for me, anytime something like that happens, I always go back to, you know, my mother passed away suddenly when I was 22 of a brain aneurysm, right? So I know the unexpected. And what I find is I always fall back on, you know what, when in my life has something unexpected or tragic or horrible happened to me before? When have I gone through this before? And how, and you know what, I've always been able to move forward. I've always been able to find a meaning in it. I've always been able to come to the terms with the fact that, you know, even if I don't know it right now, at some point, meaning is usually revealed to me. At some point, I kind of begin to understand the unfolding of life and why things happen. And so I'll remind myself when the bottom falls out now, I remind myself of that, to immediately stop myself in my tracks and say, okay, this is horrible, and I'm going to allow myself to grieve, and I'm going to allow myself to go through this. But I know that I've been there before. I've been there in other situations, and over time, it always leads to something. It's always I'm learning something. It's leading me somewhere, and so that kind of takes the sting out of things for me now, no matter what happens, is that, you know, I have no idea why this happened right now, but I know that I will eventually, because I've seen this already unfold in my past when unexpected things have happened. So that's something that I use to kind of immediately shift myself out of it. And then again, you have to take your time, and the gratitude, you know, will come eventually from that. And there's always, even my mother's death, I mean, if she hadn't died when I was 22, I would have never embarked on the path that I mean, maybe I would have, but not in the way that I have in the spiritual path that I'm on now, or teaching what I'm teaching, or, you know, and she's helped me tremendously through it. So I kind of know now that it was almost meant to happen that way. And as stinky as it was, I believe that, you know, it's almost like we contracted, like, you know, she had to leave when she was, you know, it was her time to go. And because of that, look at everything that I'm doing. I found what I love to do. I found a passion. You know, I was working in the magazine industry, never thought that I would have my own, or that I would be talking to you right now and teaching anything about anything. So, you know, that, I think that's how I view things like that. And it always helps to remind yourself, gosh, I've been through this before, and look where it brought me. I have no idea where this is going to bring me. This is horrible, and I'm so upset about it, but I'm not going to allow myself to go completely down the hole, because I know that there's a reason, and I know that eventually I'm going to understand this.
That's great. Yeah. So it's about getting off that exit, but getting back on the road once the healing is past, that kind of thing.
Yes.
And so what do you say? I was going to ask, how often do you think we should be tuning into gratitude on a daily basis, like to consciously to set those reminders, to make sure we're going to journal? How many times throughout the day do you think is a good amount to tune into this and become aware of it?
I think honestly, if you just start with once a day, you're going to see a difference. Like if you just literally start with just journaling in the morning or thinking of things in the morning, you're going to see a difference. Or if you just say, all right, what I'm going to do is I like that, setting that alarm idea. So I'm just going to take 60 seconds. That's 3 minutes a day. And when that alarm goes off, I'm going to think of 3 things that I'm really grateful for. Just, it can be in general in life, or I said, if you're working on a particular issue with somebody or with something. So if you just do that, if you just, before you go to bed at night, focus before you go to bed at night at 3 things that you're grateful for, or 5 things that you're grateful for. And if you can write those things down, you don't even have to do it all. If you just pick one of them, you will start seeing the shift. I especially like the one, you know, throughout the day, because I feel like it gives you that boost back into that higher vibration, or that boost back into kind of shifting your mood instantly. So I like that. And it's easy. It's only committing to 3 minutes, because you're, you know, every time the alarm goes off at 3 times a day, it's, you know, it doesn't take you that long. So if you want to start your day, end your day, and do the alarm thing, awesome, because you will be amazed at the shift that you have. Sometimes, like I said, I won't, you know, the alarm won't be going off or anything, but I'll just notice I'm not feeling great, or that I'm feeling stressed out. And I just stop myself for a minute, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Something's going on here. What am I thinking about? Why am I stressing myself out? Let me just switch to the positive, and then let me switch to gratitude. And it instantly will change me. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. Everything's good. And then I can go back into what I was doing. And so, like I said, if you just have to pick one of them, but the more that you do, the better that you're going to feel. And then the better that the situations around you are going to start happening.
So it's really like training our brain around this, making it a habit, making it just a part of our day, and the benefits outweigh anything. What do you say to the people out there that are really negative and just tell you, you know, Tammy, I have nothing in my life to be grateful for?
Yes. Yeah. I hear that a lot. And so I always say, you know, sometimes we're looking at the big picture, and we're saying, like, I don't have money. I don't have love in my life. I'm trying to find a partner. I'm 50 years old, and I can't, you know, I'm divorced, and I can't find love, or, you know, and we focus on these big things. Right. And so we think, but I don't have anything good going on. And so I always say, like, you can go smaller. You don't have to be grateful, you know, for the $1 million in the bank or whatever. Like, you can go smaller. So you can just be grateful that maybe it was raining for 5 days in a row, and now the sun is out, and you love the sun. The sun makes you feel better. So you can be grateful that the sun is out today, and it makes you smile, and it makes you happy. You're sick of the rain. You know, you can be grateful for the fact that, you know, you're eating dinner, and you may not have $1 million in the bank, but you have money to pay for the meal that you're eating right now. Or, you know, when you're even like for example, your cell phone or whatever, or whatever bills you pay on a regular basis, maybe it's your energy bill or whatever it is, you can be grateful for the fact that you use that cell phone all month before you have to pay for it. So how awesome is that your provider just expects you to pay, but you're really using it for the month, that whole month, and then you pay the bill. Or the same thing with the energy. You're using the energy in the house and then you're paying for it, or the apartment or whatever. So if you go down to this small level, you can find little tiny things to be grateful for. And the more comfortable you get with that, then the easier it will be to kind of find some of those bigger things. But there's always something, and you can always, again, go back to your past. Like I said, when you were 5 years old and you went to the zoo, or, whatever. It doesn't have to be right now in my life, I have nothing to be grateful for. Well, then go back. When's the last time you remember having something to be grateful for? So you can take it down to that smaller level or take it into the past if you're struggling to find something right now in your life that you're happy about or that you're grateful for. But there's always something if you kind of dig in there.
You're listening to Tammy Mastroberte right here on Juice Guru Radio with the power of gratitude. The website, www.elevatedexistence.com. We'll have a link to that under our show notes at juicegururadio.com, so check that out. Tammy, thank you so much. And can you share with our listeners how to follow you and the work you're doing? We know you're doing more live streams and really taking people into your life, which is awesome. How can they follow the work you're doing?
Yes, so they can find me on Facebook. It's Tammy Mastroberte, Elevated Existence. There's also a YouTube channel under the same name, and I've been doing weekly videos on there on a lot of topics like this and other kind of elevation topics. And on Twitter and on Instagram, it's @ElevatedTammy. And then, of course, elevatedexistence.com. We're actually working on a bunch of different things, kind of relaunching the magazine as a subscription only and a new membership and a lot of stuff. So so if you follow me at any of those places, and then of course you can always go to elevatedexistence.com and you can download a free issue of our interactive digital magazine, actually with a Wayne Dyer interview from 2011. So that's another way to kind of see what's going on in our world.
I somehow knew some of the things you're up to. I must be looking at your work too much or something.
Yes, that must be it.
Oh, yeah. Tammy Mastroberte. And you know what? If you're behind the scenes with us right now and you have any questions for Tammy, just go ahead and raise your hand if you want to come on live with video, or if you want to type it in the chat box. We'd love to take your questions, and this would be the time for that. If obviously the email went out late, so we're okay with that. Oh, here we have a question that came in from Diane. I lost my husband suddenly in 2015, and what helped me was being grateful for the life we had together and grateful for the knowledge that I would survive and be able to have a life.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh,
Wow.
I can totally understand that. And that's amazing that you were able to focus on that gratitude and were able to kind of shift yourself in that way. So that's awesome. But I can totally understand that. I think, honestly, of all the things that we suffer in this human world, the loss of a loved one is just tops the list, I think.
Yeah, I know Diane recently took a much-deserved vacation here in California, so good for you, Diane, and moving on and traveling. It is a journey, and we all kind of meet the same thing at the end on this existence. Isn't that this elevated existence, right, Tammy?
Yes, absolutely.
So what is it that we want to accomplish? What can you share with us in closing on how we can live a more elevated existence from our daily practice?
I feel like in terms of, no matter what belief system we have, no matter what journey we're on individually, I think we all want to, at some level, live higher. We want to live better. We want to connect to a higher vibration and live at a higher level, whether that be to manifest, whether that be to pull ourselves out of anxiety and depression, whatever is going on with you, that you want to learn how to find more peace or more wellness and more health. So for me, I have found really the key to all of that is learning how to kind of connect to something higher, make that spiritual connection on some level, and to live at a higher vibration. So there's so many different practices that you can do, whether it be meditation. And I think a lot of people sometimes think, well, I'm not meditating for 20 minutes. I don't have the time. But again, studies show that if you do 3 minutes 3 times a day or 60 seconds every hour, you're getting those same benefits. And again, it's like that little check-in and that reconnection. The same way that gratitude shifts your mood, when you take a minute to kind of quiet your mind and maybe repeat a mantra, I am elevated or I am love, even for 60 seconds, it can kind of boost you and boost that connection. So there's a lot of different things that we can do, but to me, I feel like that main goal is what can I incorporate into my life, gratitude or meditation or, a host of other tools that can help me live at a higher level so that my life can flow more smoothly, so that the opportunities and the situations and the people flow into my life, and so that I live as my best self. And then most of the time when we get there, we want to kind of share that with other people. And so it kind of goes full circle. So I think this gratitude, if you just start with gratitude, you are going to be living at a higher level and you're going to notice it in your life, and then you're going to get excited about it and you're going to want to look for more.
She's Tammy Mastroberte. Her website again, www.elevatedexistence. What a gift. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you for your trainings, your teachings, all the work you're doing, the amazing work you're doing in the world. And thank you for taking the time to be on Juice Guru Radio.
Absolutely. Thank you. And same thing to you, Steve. I think of you every morning when I juice. And so thank you for all that you do as well.
Awesome. Yeah, we got Tammy, her juicer. Tammy Mastroberte right here on Juice Guru Radio. I'm Steve Prusak, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Juice Guru Radio. Find out more about us at juiceguru.com. Until next time, get your juice on.